okay, guess we doing just fine. Said I'm not yours, so I see you're not. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Maltese video. So in today's video, I wanted to make this video to help out those of you guys that will be participating in tomorrow's breeding events. In case you didn't know, there's going to be a breeding event, a 24 hours breeding event, and it's like the craziest breeding event ever. It is the Colossal All-Stars edition. So that means that every single legendary monster in the game will be breedable, except some which are like Warmasters and stuff like that. You guys get that point. But the ones that are breedable in tomorrow's breeding, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my thoughts and everything on what's actually worth breeding and what's not. Some monsters are based on their meta, I guess. You know, some monsters are meta legendaries that are still usable. I'll tell you guys which ones are so you can breed them, and the ones that aren't meta but let's say they're being used in like breedings and stuff, as like Joker combinations and stuff, I'll go ahead and give you guys my opinions about that as well. But anyways, starting off with Nemesis, I don't see what's great in this monster. I mean, literally the first 5 monsters on top, or actually 6, the first 6 monsters, they have been breedable the whole time. So I think you should probably skip this since it's only for 24 hours, right? And these monsters have been breedable forever, and it will be after the breeding event as well, so you can skip them. Goldfield Arc Knight, both of them are breedable. White Walker, on the other hand, he's an attacker. He could also freeze and stuff, but I don't think it's actually worth breeding this monster. Nemesis and Workaholic, they've been always breedable, so skip that. Lossy Ghost, pretty terrifying monster, but skill-wise, not so good, honestly. Claws, not so good, to be honest. Sirens is a healer. Basically, it's Nemesis, but like a Christmas-looking type, I guess. Cupid, one of the worst monsters in the game, in my opinion. I don't like Cupid at all. I mean, the design is cool and all, right? But skill-wise, not so good. Fireloquin is also breedable, so you can skip that. You can breed it anytime you want. This monster, skip it. Skip Thunder as well. Then you get to Ural. Ural can resurrect and stuff if you need a resurrector. He's a decent resurrector. I don't see him being used now. But let's say some of these monsters are actually now usable because of Lindworm. So if you have Lindworm in your team and let's say you need a resurrector, right, you can go ahead and use this monster. Aside from that, Shihu, not so good, skip it. Lord Maltese, here's the thing with Lord Maltese. This monster isn't breedable, but if you want to pick it up because of breedings and stuff like that, because this monster is used in some breedings and stuff, and if you let's say you want to keep him just for that, go ahead and breed him. This monster, skip it. Rosie, skip it. Simo, skip. Sun Cookie, if you like a Migbo and you're a fan of him, you can go ahead and breed him just for him, but skill wise he's not that great. Metalhead, he's been used in breedings as well, so same thing applies with Lord Maltese. So if you really need a if you really want to go for him, he's only going to be used in breedings and stuff. Not so good now. Lamo is also breedable, so you can skip it. Monsters Clutch, Draza, Varuna, you can skip those. Firestorm, you can skip as well. Kind of like his design, but other than that, I don't like his skills anymore. Ultra Bud is actually breedable, so you can skip that. Chocolove, Pixelian or Pixelion, Dr. Hazard. Cynatura is a decent healer, but we have better healers now, so you can skip that. So all these monsters basically skip them. If you are a fan of MMO monster, you can get it. But skill-wise, he's not really that great, to be honest. He is actually pretty decent against bosses, especially on adventure map and stuff, because I believe one of his skill, which is like 3 dislikes or 2 dislikes, something like that. It basically removes life by a ton, like by percentage, I'm pretty sure it is. Let me check real quick. Do I even have this monster? Please tell me I have him. Yeah, I do. Okay, so MMO monster, let me see. Which one was that? Oh, the 3 dislikes right here. Deals target or damages target by 30% of its total life. See, I mean, if you really need that just for the bosses and adventure maps, you can go ahead and use it. It's really up to you. Now we're gonna get back to where we were, somewhere right here. Okay, Killer Raptor. This monster comes around in shops sometimes, like Team Shop. If you want to purchase it from there, you can. Other than that, not really a good monster. Reptile. The only reason why people use this monster is because of his triple damage. He applies triple damage, but we have better legendaries that could do that now. Master Skill, decent possessor, but I just don't like the monster anymore. Exo Skill, he's pretty powerful, or he used to be pretty powerful. Now I don't really like him, to be honest. General Ingevar, Here's about Ingvar. This monster is a team shop monster, so if you don't want to pick him up now, you can pick him up from the team shop. But let's say you don't want to waste your war coins or spend your war coins in there to get him, you can go ahead and breed it, okay? Just for collection purposes. Noctum, skip it. Same thing with General Atom, General Taytais. Same thing that I said about General Ingvar, right? If you need it for collection purposes because you don't want to spend your coins in the team shop, you can go ahead and get it. Ogma, pretty cool looking monster, but skill wise he's not really that powerful anymore. Barbatos is kind of powerful, but he's not really that great anymore, to be honest. Skip this for sure. Timerion. Okay, Timerion is actually pretty good against bosses and stuff in Adventure Map. Okay, you can use Timerion because of his Equalizer skill, because of his CDA skills. It works out great. Then we got this one, and you can skip this one. Voltaic looks pretty cool and all, but you can skip it, okay? Here's the thing. If you need an extra tournament monster that's a legendary, I prefer using Xyla now over Voltaic. So maybe you want to just get him for the way he looks. He's pretty cool looking monster, and maybe you just want to get him for that. Skill wise, he's not really that great because of Anticipation now, you know, unless you're running Mana Fusion with this monster, works out great. Other than that, not so good, to be honest, so you can skip it. Mega here, or yeah, Mega, let's just call it Mega. Not so good, skip it. Lord, you can skip. Aros is a tank monster. We have better tanks now, so you can skip that. Conflood, you can skip him, I guess. He might actually come around during this Halloween month today, like this month I'm talking about. They might actually bring him back. I don't know, maybe like in a challenge or something. Who knows? Because he is a Halloween monster. But if they don't, it's whatever. The monster isn't really that usable. Same with Lily. Let's just call it Lily. Not really a big fan of the monster. Mega Polaris, you can skip it. General Darmit, same thing applies with other Team Shop monsters that I mentioned. General Taytai, General Tom, and General Ingvar. You can get it if you want, but that'll just be if, let's say you don't want to spend your war coins and stuff, right? Getting a monster. Late, you can skip. Dead Wolf is breedable, so you can breed him anytime you want. Cavenfish, you can skip. Kin, Rofel, Recorn, Galactus, Mino, you can skip all of those monsters. General Yuria, same thing guys with the Team Shop monsters. If you see the war icon on top of the monster, that means that they are from the Team Shop. They come around sometimes, or most of the time. So if you don't want to spend your war coins, you can go ahead and breed them now. Flirty, skip. Kaliach, Krampus, all of these monsters, skip them. Let's see, skip it on up to General Chimera. Once again, another Team Shop monster. What did I tell you guys? Okay, Lux, you can skip. Malair here. This monster is breedable, so you can breed it anytime you want. Now, getting into Galante. Galante is actually one of the Joker combos nowadays for almost every breeding. So I recommend getting this monster if you don't have it already, okay? So if you can, let's say you have the right combos, you can go for Galante and breed them, okay? It's a must-have. But other than that, skill-wise, the monster isn't really that great, just for breeding purposes. General Alsa's another Team War monster. Scar, this is a VIP. I'd say only for collection purposes. The monster isn't really that great anymore. ML Yamato, you can skip that. Euro, you can skip. Skip it up to, let's see. Every single one of these monsters, holy cow. General Holster, another Team War monster. Only purchase it if you don't want, or only breed it if you don't want to spend your war coins. Vanos, if you're a fan of Vanos, you can go ahead and breed them. But you'd probably not use them in your team because monster isn't really that great skill-wise, stat-wise, everything basically in general. The only thing he's really good at is producing some gold. Will Razorface is also breedable, so you can breed it anytime. You can skip it. Commenter Alvet. Hydroke. Okay, Hydroke. Honestly, I never had this monster, so I can't give you guys my opinion, but nowadays no one really uses this monster, so I guess this isn't really that great, this monster. Trade-wise, pretty good monster, but other than that, stats and skill-wise, not as good as it used to be because of mythics. Nigeria is a breedable, permanent breedable monster, so you can breed it anytime you want. Let's see, all these other monsters you can skip. If you need a triple damage monster, well, he actually applies triple damage to himself, but the chance of stunning himself, so I don't think you should breed him. Valgard Pure, another VIP monster. My thoughts and opinions about it is that no one really uses him now. so you can skip him unless you just want him for collection purposes. Blob is always breedable thanks to Team AFK, the leader and the whole team. They actually made this possible. They made Blob breedable forever. Journal Nashant's another Team War monster. Erebus, you can skip. Hase is always breedable. Osteoclast is not worth breeding. Violet is worth breeding because she is being used in Joker combos, right? Like in breedings as a Joker combination. So you can go on and breed Violet. Zyla, once again, remember earlier I mentioned Voltic. If you need a better extra turner than Voltic and Prince Charmless, I'd recommend Zyla. Just because she's a VIP, she has a pretty good trade bulwark. You know, all status effects has a 50% less accuracy. Not just that, but if you're gonna use Lindworm, this monster, and let's say Mana Fusion, it works out great. So you can run that team if you want to. Trilops is breedable, so you can skip that. DAD units, you can skip that. All of these other ones you can skip. Jarmid's Pet, another Team Wars monster. Stinger, Tephra, Tempest. Literally, all these monsters, skip them. Ulcer is another VIP monster. I'd say I'm not really a big fan of Ulcer, although I do own him. I've never been a big fan of Ulcer, so you can skip Ulcer as well. Singularity, this monster has been well known as Stamina Drainer, and also a type of monster that would apply that countdown and stuff. So yeah, if you need any type of monster like that, you can get it. Let's say if you don't have Lindworm, you can use this monster, but it's just that this monster's stats sucks because of the fact that he's a legendary, or she, okay? Because Lindworm, not just Lindworm, but every mythic in the game, their stats are super high. And if you don't have Lindworm running, these monsters won't really be usable in battle. Tadai's Pet, another Team Wars monster. Okay, skip everything else up to... Okay, so these two monsters here, Super Dan and Cassia, they're both breedable, so you can skip them as well. Atom's Pet, another Team War monster. Tide Eradicator. This is actually a decent attacker. If you're gonna maybe run him with Lindworm, I guess he'll do some damage. He's not as powerful as you think he is, but he has a pretty cool design, and he does have some torture effects, negative stats effects on his skills, with his skills actually. So here's the thing. If you guys are planning on purchasing the exclusive Legends Pass and the upcoming Legends Pass, which is going to be the Season 4, then I recommend not breeding this monster because there is a better version. It's like a cosmic version of this monster coming very soon. So yeah, maybe you can skip this one, okay? But if you want it collection purposes, sure. He's a pretty cool looking monster. Lalo, Harzame, everything else, I'd like to skip. This monster is actually decent. I used to use this monster a lot. Trait-wise, not really that great to be honest, but skill-wise, she's decent, I'd say. But is she worth breeding? I don't think so. No, not really. I never had this monster, but no one really uses him as well, so skip it for now. Nishan's Pet, another Team War monster. Sentinel, you can skip. Heyman, 30 memes if you want to breed them, go ahead. Other than that, skip. Radar, Gretchen, Rosal, Demise, Ampera. You can skip all of them. Shalinar is a breedable monster, permanent breedable, so you can skip it. Halter's Pet is a Team Wars monster, so you don't want to spend your coins once again. You can breed it. Monkey, Totem. Totem used to be a really good monster, but I don't know. If you want to run this monster, you can, because what he does is basically he buffs strength, he buffs life, he decreases enemy stats. That's basically what he does. He's a pretty interesting monster, basically. If you want him, you can go for him. I don't think you should, but if you want to, go ahead. Skip everything else. Nox, I'm not really a big fan of this monster, although just design-wise, it's amazing. I like the design. Skill-wise, not so good, because one of his skill actually damages your own team, including yourself, which is not so good, especially in Team Wars. So you can skip that. The Direct, Monster Device, everything else you can skip. Terrorizer and H2O Delirious. If you guys are a fan of these guys, you can breed them just for that, but other than that, skip it. Uther the Valiant? Okay, so this is a attacker, okay? This is a VIP attacker. If you want him, you can, but I'd say only for collection purposes. That's what I recommend. Other than that, don't breed him. Alice's Pet is a Team Shop monster, Wildcat. If you're a fan of Wildcat, you can breed him. Chill Bill is a breedable monsters permanently, so that's that. But just skip them. Houdini, it's another version of Vanos, so once again, if you're a fan of Vanos, you can go in and get them. These other monsters you can skip. Yuri's Pet. Yuri's Pet is another Team Shop monster, okay? Skip it up to Louis. If you're a fan of Louis, you can go on and breed him just for that. Everything else, skip up to Vanos. Vanos is another version of Vanos, basically. So, if you guys want this monster just for that, go for it. The thing with this monster is that he's being used in tons of breedings as a Joker combination, just like Violet and Gallantry Jr. So, if you want, you can go on and get him just for that. So, it's a good monster to have. Ingor's Pet is another Team Shop monster, skip it. Everything else you can skip. Shinera's Pet. Shinera's Pet is another Team Shop monster, so if you want to, it's really up to you. Skip, skip, skip. Jakugan, another breedable monster. Everything else, skip, skip, skip. Let's see. Oh, we get into Nemesis. So, these Nemesis monsters, right? If you want to, you can get them. Nowadays, people don't really use these monsters. If you want to, just for collection purposes, go for it. Other than that, I'd say just skip them, honestly. Let's see. Baba Yaga, no. Skip, skip. Ingor's Bodyguard, another Team Shop monster. We have Ikuduma, which is a permanent buildable monster, so you can skip that for sure. Life Melt. Okay, so we're getting to Lucifiers, right? This is like attacker. If you need a Nemesis attacker, I don't think... I mean, I don't know why you want them, because there are mythics now. Mythics are a lot better. But let's say if you still want them, you can go ahead and go for them, I'd say. You know? I actually have this one, but it's on my storage. I never got to hatch them. I just don't have space, that's why. But I'd say mostly for collection purposes, you can go for it. Everything else, skip. Tom's Bodyguard is another Team Shop monster. So, oh, Patreon. This is another version of the YouTuber Popular MMO, so if you're a fan of him, you can go in and breed him just for that. Skill-wise, he's not really that great. Warthog, basically all the Warthogs, once again, same thing applies with the other Nemesis that I told you. Alright. Dharma's Bodyguard, you can go ahead and skip that since, I mean, it is a Team Shop monster. It's only if you don't want to spend your coins once again. Flamarion used to be a great monster, but not anymore. Same with Tinkerion. So, Sammy's here, right? We have the 3 Sammys. Not gonna lie, I've seen some players, barely actually, like, low chance. I've seen players actually use this monster still. If you want to, you can. I recommend breeding the Plague Carrier. The Plague Carrier is a lot better because if you have seen his skills before, you'd know. So I recommend breeding the Plague Carrier over the other 2. That's only if you want to breed them. Nishan's Bodyguard is a Team Shop monster. Flavia is a breedable monster, so skip it. Let's see. Oh, we're getting into the lights of our lums, basically. The 3 lums. If you want to, you can. No one really uses it now, just like the other Nemesis says. Shinera's Bodyguard, another Team Shop monster. Cloud is another version of the YouTuber Popular MMO, so if you are a fan and you just want to have them all, go for it, okay? Nadials. Okay, so we're getting into the 3 Nadials, alright? The one that I have is the Pyromancer. He was decent, actually. Here's the thing. With all the Nemesis monsters, let me tell you this. So no one actually is like, in the comments and they're saying some stuff. So here's the thing. With all the Nemesis monsters, if you want to get them just for the Nemesis Survival Dungeon, you can. Because Nemesis Survival Dungeon gives you gems, gives you resources, gives you so much stuff, right? Including Heroic Orbs. So if you want to just get these monsters just for that, go for it, okay? It's a long-term thing that will help you out. But other than that, if you're gonna use them in PvP and stuff, I don't really recommend it, honestly. Anyways, the other monsters, Angelica, she's a trait disabler. She's a decent trait disabler actually. Pretty decent supporter. But we have Madam Fusion, which is a lot better, so you can skip Angelica. Okay, so here is when we get to the Sirens, okay? There is Siren, the Quartz, the Emerald, and of course the Ruby. The one that is still usable now, just because of Lindworm, that is Siren to Ruby. I 100% will say that if you want to go for one of these Rubies, or one of these Sirens, you should probably go for the Ruby, because Ruby is really good, I'd say. It's just because of the random negative status effects that this monster applies, the control status effects. So go for it, just because of that. Alright, if you could get a 130, run it with Lindworm, you'll be destroying bases, trust me. Anyways, Holter's Bodyguard, Team Shot Monster, skip everything else. Oh, Faraday's. So these monsters are really good because of their trait, which was Anticipation. I believe this was the first monster with that trait, with that type of trait. That's why these monsters were super popular and everybody got them. These monsters aren't really that usable anymore because we have better monsters with anticipation traits, so you can skip them. Furious Bodyguard, another Team Shop monster. We get into the Taluses. Okay, Taluses, I'm not really a big fan of them, to be honest. Alright. If you want to, you can go for them, but I don't really recommend breeding them. Skipping everything else. Skip Rossigon as well. We have Watermaster Gortak. This isn't going to be in the breeding, by the way, so you can cross out Gortak. You won't be. None of the Warmasters will be. Skip everything. General or Tay-Tai's Bodyguard. Tay-Tai's Bodyguard, another Team Shop monster, so you could skip. Alsa's Bodyguard, another Team Shop monster. It's really up to you if you want to breed it or not, those Team Shop monsters. Copycat is a decent monster that applies controls and stuff, but then if you can breed Zyron to Ruby, go for that instead of this, okay? Okay, anyways, let's see, what else do we have? Necromancer won't be in it, so we can skip that. Prince Charmless, if you're gonna breed Zyla, then you should probably stick to that and not go with Charmless. So yeah, let's see, Imigbo, if you're a fan of Imigbo, you can breed him. Other than that, he's not really that usable anymore, unfortunately. Alright, let's see, who else do we have that is good to breed, that is decent to breed? Kane is actually a decent attacker, but there are better attackers, so you can skip him. Alright. Dragon is a pretty decent Mega Stunner, but now we've seen tons of monsters with Megatons and tons of monsters that are immune to stun and they have immune to control, so I don't really recommend breeding this monster. Alright. Let's see, Soul Hugger, not really, skip it. It is a elite monster, of course. Who else do we have? Oh, Dunra. Dunra is actually pretty decent now. I mean, it has been pretty decent, I guess. Although there are better Megatons now because they're mythics and stuff. But let's say if you don't have any Megaton mythics, I recommend breeding Dunra. Yeah, picking them up. Coral Brutalis. If you're gonna get Dunra, I recommend skipping Brutalis. Alright, Hilgudin, the only reason why this monster is really, really great, I mean, aside from having great attack skills, it's because of his or her trait, and that is the dodge area, okay? So, if you want to breed it, just because of the dodge area, and you need an attacker, a decent attacker, you could go in and get him, you know, or her, I don't know the gender. Let's see, Gorg is actually a pretty decent attacker, okay? Gorg is pretty good, because here's the thing, this trait right here that's already unlocked, you have immune to freeze and status caster area shock, so you're going to apply the area shock to them in the beginning of the battle, which is really good, in my opinion. It could prevent extra turners from attacking, if you don't have any anticipators. So Clipium, if you're going to breed a genre, I recommend skipping Clipium. Then we have Pure Sight. Pure Sight is actually pretty usable now with Lindworm, so if you have Lindworm in your team, breed it. If you don't have Lindworm, then I'd recommend not breeding. So Kawaii used to be a really good monster, but now not so good. Trait-wise, he's pretty good as well. So it's really up to you if you want to breed Kawaii. I don't really recommend breeding him, but if you want to, go for it. Mephisto is basically like Dunra. You guys can let me know in the comments, who do you like more, Mephisto or Dunra? I'd probably say Dunra because I think this monster's stats are better. Not just that, skill-wise, you could apply curse and stuff. Mephisto could apply tortures as well, let's not forget that. But here's the thing, what's it called? This monster's an elite monster, the other ones are just a regular legendary. And here's the thing, they both start off with Megatons in the beginning of the battle, no matter what rank it is, okay? Both of them. So they have that status caster. Alright, Zagar and Dragar, you can skip those two. Wormlad is still usable. I've seen some players still use it because of the dodge area and because he can hold a Ural Essence, Revival Essence that could bring him back. Not just that, but also he can resurrect and stuff. He's a pretty decent, pretty decent supporter now as a legendary. Actually, one of the best legendary supporters, I'd say. Okay? Aside from Mana Fusion, of course. We haven't gotten into Mana Fusion. But Wormlad, I'd say breed it if you want to. Go ahead. I mean, if they bring out the, what's it called? Mythics that have dodge area soon and that are decent at supporting and stuff, then you could just not breed Wormlad, I guess. You could skip it. But I'd recommend breeding Wormlad, one of the best meta monsters right now. As a legendary, of course. Zizania as an elite monster, I don't really recommend breeding him, although I do have him, but not so good, honestly. He's well known for his Pierce mechanic. You can skip the rest. Mana Fusion is still usable. I still use Mana Fusion with Lindworm. If you do have Lindworm, this monster works great with Lindworm, okay? So you can go on and run that. Natural Blaster, if you have Lindworm, it's a pretty decent monster because you could turn transfer and you could literally melt them and stuff. So you can run him if you want. Isol is actually a pretty decent Megaton or tank monster actually. If you want to run him, you can. But here's the thing, I'd say Mephisto and Dunra is probably better because they start off with the Megaton right away. While this monster only has Taunt, then you have to unlock Freeze, and then you have to unlock the Satisfaction Megataunt, which is going to be at rank 3. Alright, skipping everything else. Okay, Ugluk. This monster is actually a pretty decent attacker. Okay, pretty decent attacker, trust me. The Vestus is a really great Pierce attacker, so if you want to go for it, just because of that Pierce mechanic, you can. Kron X, I mean, there's Lindworm now, so if you want a legendary version of Lindworm, you can breed him. But if you have Lindworm, I recommend skipping this for sure. Gualye, oh yeah, this monster is really good with tortures and stuff. But once again, most of these monsters are only usable now because of Lindworm. Okay? Same with Lord Pumpseed. This monster is great. Here's the thing. If you are participating in the upcoming marathon, I heard, I'm not sure if this is true, okay? Don't take my words. But they leaked it and said that this monster might be in the upcoming marathon as like one of the rewards. Alright? So if you don't want to pick it up from the breeding, you can probably pick it up from the race. But we don't know if he'll actually be out there for sure. So yeah. Alright, so the Forsakens are most likely not going to be breedable during this breeding event, so you can skip them. Ursus, skip. Rosyuko, you can skip. Yadra. Okay, getting into Grakon, if you could get it to rank 5, that's really good because of the dodge area. If you can't get it to rank 5, makes him less usable, but he's still going to be a pretty decent monster if you could run it with Lindworm. I recommend doing that. Synapticus and Zombik, you can go ahead and skip those. Rekka is a decent extra turner. I don't think he's really that usable anymore, to be honest. He was a decent attacker before, extra turner especially, but not so good now. So unless you're going to run this monster with Mana Fusion, okay? Mana Fusion, this monster, and Lindworm works out great. Euryticus, here's the thing. This is a Joker combo, so definitely pick it up if you haven't already, okay? Definitely a pickup. Raise Rot, don't really pick him up, honestly. No one really uses him now. Akinubuki, pretty cool design. It's basically a second version of Nubuki. I don't really recommend breeding him. If you want to, just for collection purposes, go ahead. But anyways, guys, that's going to be pretty much it for today's Monster Legends video. Basically reviewing everything for tomorrow, because tomorrow is of course going to be the Colossal, the All-Stars Colossal. So if, let's say, I changed your mind about some monsters, that's great. You can let me know in the comments. And if you disagree with anything, you can feel free and let me know in the comments, alright? Anyways, if this video did help you guys out, go ahead and drop a like and also subscribe with notifications on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.